Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Heather. Today I'm so excited to share my very first DIY for an ear tutorial in such a long time. I wanted to make something really cute for the Flower and Garden Festival this year. We're not going, but I still wanted to celebrate in spirit, so I decided to come up with these really cute ears, and I'm gonna go ahead and roll that footage of sharing how I made them, and I will have all of the things linked below that you will need to create these ears for your very own. I hope you guys enjoy it. The first thing I'm going to be using to make the Mickey topiaries is this one sheet of adhesive, self-adhesive moss from Amazon. You're also going to need a Mickey head shaped item. I used this cookie cutter and trimmed along the outside edge, or traced along the outside edge, to make my template. This is going to make my ears, and I'm going to cut it out in foam. I ordered this set of headbands from Amazon. You can use whatever headbands you like, but I did order them because they had so many beautiful vibrant colors, and I really liked this fuchsia one, so I'm going to be using that today. Next, I'm using some flower picks from the Dollar Tree. And then I laid out these fabrics because I wasn't sure what color I wanted to use for the bow. But in the end, you will see that I did end up going with yellow because yellow is such a vibrant color at Epcot for the festival. So I felt like with the fuchsia, the yellow, and the purple, I felt like it would all look so beautiful together. So that's why I picked this one. Here's what the moss looks like. There was not a lot of fallout on this when I opened it. Now when you cut into it, that's a different story because you're cutting into the moss. So what I did was I flipped it over and I began to trace my template out for the ear. And so when I'm cutting this out in just a few minutes, you will see that I'm going to be cutting it on the outside of the line that I traced. And that's because I don't want to add any trim. I want this to be a full-on topiary. I don't want there to be any ribbon trim, no beading, no anything on the outside. I just want it to be a Mickey head. And honestly, you'll kind of see what I did here later on, and I'll talk you through that as I am changing things around. But if you want to allow yourself more space and you are pretty good at drawing, then make this line a little bit bigger, because I did run into some issues a little bit later. Easily solved, but I want to save you some steps along the way. So just keep watching, and I'm going to finish tracing these out, and then we'll start putting it together. So here is what they all look like whenever they are cut out. I'm so excited. So for my foam board that I got at the Dollar Tree, I forgot to pop that in the beginning, but I'm going to be tracing and cutting these out on the inside of the traced line. The reason I love using the foam board is that you can easily press in if you make a little bit of a mistake and don't get it cut quite round. You can always press that in, and it's easily manipulated over the cardboard. So here I'm just going to line up how I want my ears inside the headband, and I'm just going to go ahead and trace that little notch and cut that out. I kind of set mine up a little bit higher. Instead of doing the flat across the bottom, I kind of did it at an angle. You can see me cutting that here. I did it at an angle because I want the ears to stand upright more, the Mickey heads to stand upright more, instead of them being sideways. Now here I am matching the other side of the foam that's going to go on the back. But again, you will see me change that up here in a little while. So if you want to follow this step, just make sure you're making your moss bigger. And if you're wanting to use trim, that is perfectly fine too. You can always cover it up. Anyway, this is the self-adhesive side, and it is very sticky. However, I wanted to make sure it was extra secure. So I am using the hot glue to add it to my piece of foam. So I'm going to repeat that on both sides for both sides of the ear. And I kind of stopped midway because once I had glued both sides together, I noticed very quickly I was not going to get the coverage that I wanted. It was basically going to leave a significant gap where you could see the foam, and I could always have pieced a thin strip of the topiary or the moss trim. Here you can see there is such a huge gap, and there's nothing I can pinch together to make that work. I did try though. So you could always put green trim if you want, if you need them thicker, but I actually like the way it turned out better. So here I am pulling off that moss, and I'm just going to use one side of the foam. So I'm just going to glue that second piece of moss on the side I already did first. So we're just going to eliminate that second piece of foam. And here I am gluing it back on. And like I said, it made the ears so much lighter. So I'm really happy that I went with that. So here I am just gluing it on, and I'm going to go around the entire edge of that and just press in the moss around to cover up that foam. I know I am making it sound so much more difficult than it really is. So you basically only need to cut out one side per ear and just adhere the moss to both sides of it and call it a day, because it just made everything so much easier. Once I went to go do the other side, everything moved super quickly. But this was trial and error. I'm doing the hard work, so you don't have to. You can just go and make it so much easier for yourself if you want to duplicate these ears, which I hope that you do. And if you make them, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to see your version of these ears. Here I'm using a floral stem to press down to give that a little bit more definition in the middle, so you can tell that it is a Mickey head instead of just a heart shape. I didn't want that to get lost in the design of actually putting this together, so wanted to make sure if you're seeing that in your design, to press down in the middle while everything is drying so it has a chance to set up. So here I am doing the other side. Like I said, this side goes so much quicker and it's so much easier. And I am so obsessed with these ears. I cannot stop smiling at them when I see them on my shelf in the bedroom. And my goodness, I seriously hope that you will try it. Okay, now it's time to put the ears on the headband. So here I'm just setting them up to see where I want them to sit on the headband itself. And then I like to mark where the ears are going to be sitting. That way when I lift them up to hot glue them on, I'm not going to lose the space. So make sure you are using a generous amount of glue because it tends to melt the foam just a little bit. So make sure you're using a generous amount, scrape off any excess, and hold this firmly until it dries, because if not, it may slide since it is going on a satin headband. If you're using a cloth headband, it may not do that as much, but satin tends to make things slip just a little bit. So here I am repeating that process on both sides, and once they are secure, we can start working on the bow. I will say I did not film a bow tutorial because many people have a bow tutorial up, and I have done it for a while myself. Oh my gosh, yes, I forgot about that bunny. I was going to put one of my cute little topiary bunnies from the Dollar Tree in the middle, but it was just too much. But that would have been so cute if it was a smaller size, just to hide it in the flowers or something. But like I said, there are many bow tutorials out there, so I'm not going to really highlight how I'm making this bow. I did go with that yellow color like I had said earlier, and I need new fabric scissors. Mine are absolute junk anymore, so I need to get new scissors. So nothing is perfectly cut, but I'm just going to make that bow for the center, and it just reminds me so much of looking over from World Showcase over to the Journey into Imagination with Figment. It's just so sunny and bright when all of the Flower and Garden Festival flowers are around that water. It just reminded me of that. And of course we had to bring that sunshine to these ears. That's why I am obsessed with this yellow. And it also has that gorgeous flower pattern in it as well. So I'm just going to finish up that bow and start moving on to the next step. So now here I am trimming off the backs of the little flower buds where they stick onto the stems. Just makes them lay flat a little better. So I'm trimming those off, and I was going to alternate purple pink, or pink purple, but the purple kind of got lost, and so I had to double up the purple, and I just put purple in the middle of each one of them, and I feel like that turned out okay. But you can seriously go crazy with your flowers, pick whatever colors you like, whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you smile, and there I am just sticking the bow in the middle. You could always offset your bow. You could make a smaller bow. You could do no bow and add more flowers, bigger flowers. You just do whatever you'd like. But this was the pattern that I decided to go with. So here's what they look like as of now, but I really loved the idea of that flower bud with the leaves on it, and I didn't realize I'd used one. So I decided to take one and turn one side of the topiary into Minnie Mouse and use a flower bud with the leaves as her bow. And I just thought that added a cute little touch to it as well, and it was complementary to the other side having a flower with the leaves. Now you could go across the back and add more flowers, but I decided to leave it plain because I thought it stood out a little bit more. I wanted to film what these look like outside in the daylight. We are having a lot of rain, so we don't have direct sun. But even on a cloudy day, you can just see how beautiful and vibrant these look. And I paired that with my Walt Disney World fuchsia top that I got years ago. It just looks so cute. So I definitely know that I will be taking these with me on any future trip to the Flower and Garden Festival. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you next time.